If you want to change your life, it starts with a change in you. My Ballerina Fairy Spirit guide came to me and said that, Deepa, we want you to share what needs to happen so you can actually take your life from one that's either maybe okay or maybe you are really dissatisfied with most of it to one where you absolutely love it, and that you wake up in the day feeling fulfilled and happy and like you're loving life. I'm Deepa Lou, I'm the Creative Mystic, and I want to start creating an experience for you because that's what actually transforms you, will transform anybody, is having an experience. So it's not just getting knowledge, but it's also getting an experience for yourself in that knowledge. Because any transformation you want starts with having a transformation, a shift in your consciousness. And we're going to talk to the Ballerina Fairy and ask her to share her wisdom, her higher guidance on what that is that you need to do. All right, so let's get going. I talked about how transformation starts with you, and the thing that makes it so that you can be receptive, because that's what the Ballerina Fairy said to me earlier, was that receptivity is so important in making change, in having a fulfilled life, in having a life you love, okay? So what's that first step in being receptive is to relax. Most people go through their day and they're busy, 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 and they got lots of things to do, and they're on to the next thought and the next thing. Is that you? Where you find yourself just going from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing? Well, that makes it so you're not receptive. You're not receptive to hearing messages from your spirit guides that maybe you do or don't have a relationship with. But if you are constantly go, 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 tense, 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 that keeps you from being receptive. And so my Ballerina Fairy wanted me to do this message, this reading, in a way that brings you into a receptive mode, because when you are receptive, that's when you can hear a spiritual truth and really take it in and start to understand it at a deep level so that you can transform your life, transform what's keeping you from being stuck, okay, or from being stuck, okay? So I'm going to ring this Tibetan bell and have you focus on the sound. And as you're focusing on the sound, I'm going to talk you through breathing deeply into the belly, in and out, so that when you inhale, the belly rises with the inhalation and falls with the exhalation, so that you can be the most receptive to the message, the reading from the Spirit Guide Portal. I hope that you join in and actually participate. All right? So close your eyes right now. Focusing on your breath. Taking a deep belly breath in where the belly rises with the inhalation and falls with the exhalation. And just continuing to do that deep belly breath in and out. And on that next deep belly inhalation, just draw on the energy of focus. And on the exhalation, let go of any distractions, any business of the day. As you continue to do that, breathing in and out at a pace that's comfortable for you, listen to the sound of the bell. Focusing all your attention on the sound of the bell. And as the bell fades into the distance, just allow yourself to be in a relaxed breathing, in and out, affirming that I am receptive to the guidance, to the message from the Ballerina Fairy Spirit Guide. Just continuing to breathe in and out and breathe And I'm going to do a little prayer of connection, a silent one, to the Ballerina Fairy, asking her what she has to share. So she's saying today the thing that she wants to talk about are two different things. One is about the receptivity for transformation, and that in order to be receptive, you have to be open, consciously make that statement of I'm open to receiving the guidance, to receiving the blessings, so that I can hear it with new ears, with new understanding. To actually say that now if you can. Say it out loud. No one can hear you. I'm open to receiving the guidance and blessings with new ears, with new understanding, so that I can have deeper transformation to create a life I love. So she's asking you, as you affirm that, to just fully be in all of that and allow yourself to hear the message and know that it is blessing you with the consciousness shift to understand it, to apply it, to truly start to transform you so you can transform your life. So what she's saying is that all transformation begins in your consciousness. And what you have to start to transform are the habits that you have. The habit of how you think, the habit of what you do, the habit of how you are being. So what she means by being is maybe you're someone who you're being like closed-hearted, or maybe you have the habit of being abrupt, or maybe you have the habit of being grouchy. But to allow yourself to be different. So if you identify as someone who is grouchy, or someone who is close-hearted or defensive, she's saying just allow yourself to say, you know what? I'm willing to be different. Because in your beingness, to be different, your consciousness has to shift. You have to start to shift the way that you're believing and thinking that the world operates and how you operate. So what she's talking about in the words of how you operate, she's talking about the beliefs that you have about yourself. So do you think you're smart or not so smart? Or do you think that you're good with your hands or not good with your hands? Do you think you're bad with math or good with math? All of those identifications keep you looking at life a certain way. And so she wants you to be willing to clean the slate. Like say, there are no self-definitions of myself. That I am a limitless being and all things are possible. Because you actually are a limitless being. See, when we're not in our programming and in all the things in the world that you have to do or you think you have to do, that ultimately who you really are is this spiritual being who is infinite, who is limitless, who is all-knowing and all-powerful. But how do you step into that identity of that when you've been programmed with not believing that? Okay, you've been programmed with maybe believing you're not enough, or there's not enough, you're not good enough. It's always in that lack consciousness side. So what she wants you to practice, she's saying, is to practice noticing when you're in lack. When you think there's not enough money, when you think you're not good enough, when you think that there's not enough to go around. Anytime you're in lack consciousness, that's the limiting belief, the most pervasive one, she's saying, that is holding you back. That's preventing you from having and transforming that life that you love. And so she wants you to start to be open and receptive to the messages from your spirit guide. Okay, if you don't know a spirit guide, You can do it without any form, and it can just be, I'm open to receiving intuitive guidance and messages, okay? But she said if you acknowledge the spirit guide, or pick a spirit guide, because maybe you don't know what spirit guide is around you, sometimes having a form helps. She's not even saying sometimes, that was my word, sometimes. She's saying having a form can help because it helps bridge the gap between a spiritual truth and your programming. She's saying that, we've been programmed to believe in the physical, of like what we see with our eyes, what we can touch with our hands, and the way we bridge that gap to start to believe in the spiritual truth that everything is spiritual, everything is energy, right? Everything's this spiritual energy that we can't define, that has many names, that some call it God, Buddha, Allah, spirit guides, angels. There's all kinds of names, okay, for this spirit energy that we can't touch with our hands or see with our eyes necessarily, okay? So she's talking about how the spirit guides are the bridge of that gap. And the reason why is the spirit guides come, and maybe you can't see them with your physical eyes, but they come in some kind of form. And so having form helps you as a spiritual soul, a spiritual seeker, grab onto something, hang on to something, to know that, I'm not alone. When like for me, my purpose spirit guide is my Ballerina Fairy, okay? And I get visions of her dancing through life with joy, because that's her main message for me, that I really need to do that, is dance through life with joy and pick everything up by that thread. And I have some days I do that great, and some days I don't. My Ballerina Fairy has to remind me. So having that form, having my Ballerina Fairy actually in physical form, because I painted her for me. I do this for clients too, but I did it for me. Help me to go, yes, when I forget, because remember, I've said this in other videos, remembering is one of the most important things on the spiritual path, on the spiritual journey, is that we fall into our programming and we forget the spiritual truth. And that forgetting might just be for a minute, but that 1 minute can make you struggle, okay? So the spirit guide is talking to me about how you need to really start to embrace your receptivity to receiving higher guidance, so that you're not coming from your subconscious mind, to receiving new ways of thinking and being. And she's saying you may not know what those are, but the intention of just saying, I am willing to understand something different. I'm willing to do something new and different. I'm willing to be different. Like if your habit was to be grouchy, to say, you know what? For this next hour, I'm going to focus on being joyful. Or if your habit is to be kind of fearful and anxiety ridden, okay, because it's really just a habit, then you say for 5 minutes, I'm going to be calm and peaceful. And I'm going to focus on my breath and do whatever I need to be and do to be in that calm energy. So she's saying to be receptive, be relaxed first. You have to relax, focus on your breath, and then receive the guidance you're getting. Now, don't stress about it if you don't get any. So you take those few moments to consciously receive, and then you let it go and you go out in your day. And what I find happens, and will happen, I'm sure, for you, if you stay receptive, okay, and you stay present and aware, okay, is the signs will come in another form. Maybe you'll have repeating numbers. Maybe an unusual animal, wild animal will go by and you'll go, oh, what does that mean? And you go check up what it means, and it's the very message that you need to hear, okay? So to stay present with that, all right? Now, she's saying that one of the other things she wants to talk about, besides relaxing and being receptive, like to being different, okay, just experimenting with how in your beingness of being different for just those short periods of times, is for self-reflection. She's saying self-reflection is so important in your spiritual journey, to take the time to sit with yourself, be quiet with yourself, feel how you feel on the inside, what your energy feels like, what you see maybe racing through your mind, or the repetitive thoughts, or the repetitive habits that you have. Like I said, she's saying the habits are the ones that you want to really change to transform your life. And so you want to practice self-reflection. So at the end of the day, or first thing in the morning when you wake up, to reflect on the day before, okay? And to reflect on it in, how did I feel physically? How did I feel emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? So spiritually, did you feel inspired? Did you feel inspired in how you were with other people? Did you feel enthusiastic about applying the spiritual truths in your life? Emotionally, are you feeling joyful, loving, happy, content? Or are you feeling fearful, anxiety-ridden? Okay, those are the habits you want to start to notice, okay, to self-reflect on. And then make a determination on the one you're going to look at changing. So after you self-reflect for a few days and you see, like, after 3 or 4 days or maybe a week, you go, gee, at the end of every day when I did self-reflection, I noticed every day I felt anxious. So I think that's the one I want to work on. Or maybe at the end of every day, I felt tense and worried. Or maybe at the end of the day, you felt exhausted and like no hope. So you look at that and you go, okay, well, I want to change that habit so I can change my life. Because those habits come from the beliefs that you're having and the habits that you've developed from those beliefs. So you could consciously go, yeah, I don't believe that anymore. But if you don't change your habits of the way you're thinking and of what you're doing and being, your life won't change. You may have consciously said, I don't believe that anymore. But are you believing it at the level of where you can actually apply the new belief and live it? Is that making sense? So if it's not, please put questions in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I want to check back in with Ballerina Fairy to see if she has any other things to say. So she's telling me she wants me to give you an example. So she said, so if you believed the world was flat, now, obviously nobody probably believes that now, but let's just say you believed the world was flat, because they did believe that many years ago, right? Many years ago, they believed the world was flat. You would be what? You would be careful not to go too far off, because you wouldn't want to go off the edge if the world was flat. So then if you said, well, I believe the world is round, and it's a ball, okay? And you go, okay, now I believe that. But then you still see yourself not going too far, because somewhere in there, there's that fear still going out of habit, because your neural pathways have been firing that way for a while, that you'll fall off the edge. Now, obviously, the world being flat is not something, but where do you have a belief, like you're not good in math, or that you put limitations on yourself? So, for instance, for like me, I used to feel like I'm not good with music. And I would buy instruments but never put any energy into really learning them or playing them. And I decided to let that go, and I've been practicing guitar for about a year now. I'm going to stick with it and keep learning the chords and keep trying to get my fingers on there right, and letting go of that definition, because that belief of I'm not good at music and playing instruments can still creep in, and I'll catch myself thinking, oh, I'm never going to be any good at this guitar. And I stop. I can do this. I can learn this. I can be a great guitar player. I can, and I just keep practicing. Now, am I a great guitar player yet? No. But I am better than I was a year ago. And I can play little chords and sing along with it, and it gives me joy. See, so now I'm creating the life I love, because rather than judging myself for that I can't do it and I'm crummy at it and it's something I've always wanted to do, I'm enjoying doing it for me. Okay? I'm getting better at it every single day, as long as I keep practicing, which I do. See, so she's wanting you to look at yourself and go, where have you limited yourself in something that you think you're bad at, but you've actually wanted to do it? Because that is going to be the biggest transformational thing you can do to take your life from something that's your life's just only okay to loving your life, is that you start to act on the things that you've always wanted to do but have not done them. And if it's because of maybe lack of money or you don't think you'd be good at it, she's asking you to have the shift of letting go of being good. She's saying that's one of the biggest reasons why people have lives they don't love, is that they keep trying to be good at something rather than just doing it for the mere joy and the love that you have for it. So she's wanting you to actually embrace that and do that self-reflection so that you can also see, what is that thing that I want to start acting on despite my belief system of I might not be good at it, despite my belief that maybe you think it's not possible, because you really truly are this limitless being and all things are possible. You have to just own what you desire and start to act on it, okay? So, but what the Ballerina Fairy is guiding you on is to help you with this process. Because if you just kind of try to pick one thing and don't do the process of what she's saying about self-reflection, about being receptive, you will probably do it for a day and drop off after that, or maybe a week, and then you'll drop it off. So she's giving you guidance on how to make lasting transformation in your life. So I'm going to recap it because I know I gave the guidance, is that you need to relax and be receptive, to make that statement that I'm receptive to looking, being, and doing something new and different. And she's saying then you need to practice self-reflection. She's saying it's best to do it at the end of the day, but if you want to do it the next morning because that's how you're wired and it works better for you, do that. And that self-reflection is to see how you've been and your being, doing, and having, so you can start to recognize the areas that you might want to shift in. Because any place that you're dissatisfied with, there is actually a shift you can do to make that transformation. All right? So if you like what you hear, please share this with somebody that you know would benefit from it and be that blessing in the world. If you've first time seeing me, please subscribe if you haven't. And if you're wanting more support, more help, feel free to check it advantage of my Next Step Connection call. It's complimentary, totally free to you. If you're looking for a coach and you'd really like to get some support there. And if you love spirit guides and you're wanting to connect with your spirit guide, please be willing to go check out my latest course about Connect to Your Purpose Spirit Guide. All right, you have a miraculous day. Blessings.